Hi, everyone. Judge Andrew Napolitano here for Judging Freedom. Today is Friday, May 27th, 2022. It's about 1:15 in the afternoon here on the East Coast of the United States. The fourth or fifth press conference in Uvalde, Texas, has just concluded. What a mess. What an incompetent series of events resulting in far more deaths of babies than was necessary. We'll start out with the police giving the press conferences. It's a different person every day. So whoever's there on, like today, Friday, is unable and unwilling to account or justify for what was said on Thursday. And whoever was there on Thursday was different from the folks that were there on Wednesday. This is a standard government technique utilized by the government when it knows it has dropped the ball and it's reluctant to discuss the ball dropping. I mean, to call this ball dropping is to be guilty of a gross understatement. The police mismanagement and incompetence at the scene actually resulted in more deaths. We know that the police took so long to get into the building, so long to attack the killer, that several of the students bled to death and their lives might have been saved. We know, for example, that the police handcuffed parents at the scene who wanted to rush into the school to save their children. We know that at least one of those parents found another cop to unhandcuff her. She ran in and saved her kid. Unarmed female had more courage than the male police officers from this town who were worried about being shot. If you're worried about being shot, don't become a cop. If you're afraid to storm a building where a madman is slaughtering babies, don't become a cop. We also know that the police were in the building for 20, 30, 40 minutes before they entered the classroom to try and save the lives of the babies that had been slaughtered. We know that the police kept the feds from entering the building. They were ready to storm it. They weren't afraid. Admittedly, they had equipment. They had shields, bulletproof shields to hold and wear in front of them. And admittedly, they are better trained. I mean, let's face it, all of this ended when Border Patrol sharpshooters arrived. And what does the Border Patrol have to do with safety in a school? Nothing. But they were locally headquartered. This school is only 16 miles from the Texas-Mexico border. They have access to the 911 calls. And most importantly, they have access to police radios. So they were aware of what was happening. 80 of them, 80, courageously ran to the school to go inside and kill the killer. And what did these incompetent local cops do? Stop them from going in. They stopped parents from saving their kids. They stopped the feds from going in to kill the killer. And they stopped themselves from going in because they were afraid of being shot. All of this is admitted by these different people who keep holding the state's press conferences. I'm sure there'll be an investigation here. There'll be lawsuits, and the lawyers will interrogate everybody that was involved. But from what we know now, just a few days after this tragedy, it is clear to say that the local authorities, from the mayor on down, failed in their basic duty, which is to keep people, in this case, children, in this case, babies, young children, safe. The killer opened an unlocked door and locked it behind him, and the police couldn't get in. When the feds finally arrived and the local police finally said to the feds, you can go in, they couldn't get in. They had to go to the principal and find a key to the locked door. The police should have the keys to government doors. Government doors where children are inside should be locked during the day. This was a catastrophe perpetrated by a madman, facilitated by incompetence. You know, a lot of people are willing to trade liberty for safety. I've always argued that our liberties are natural to us and we should never give them up. In this case, I'm talking about the liberty of self-defense, a natural right. Justice Scalia wrote in the Heller opinion, that's the opinion in 2008. We were a country for 200 years before this was finally settled, that the individual has the right to keep and bear arms in the home. The Supreme Court of the United States will rule in the next couple of weeks about the right to keep and bear arms outside the home. But these are natural rights. These are fundamental rights that we all have. Some of my liberal friends would say, well, we give up our rights in return for safety. The government stinks, at least the government in this town. They didn't provide any safety, notwithstanding the rights that were given up, because teachers and gym teachers and administrators and janitors and anybody who could be trained in the use of a handgun was prohibited from carrying it in that school because of federal law and because of state law. Texas has a provision that would allow the local school board to request an exemption from the Texas law. Texas has a history of granting those exemptions. The Uvalde School Board and the Uvalde powers that are did not ask for it. Judge Napolitano for Judging Freedom.